Hey YouTube, how's it going? It's Quentin here, and as you guys can probably tell, this video is going to be a little bit different to what you're used to seeing on my channel, okay, because you're looking at my face and not my computer screen, okay, but there is a reason for that, okay, because, I say okay a lot, because I have a guest on the channel today. His name is Travis, and he's all the way from San Francisco, California, from another YouTube channel called DevTips. So he actually commented on one of my videos and he said, "Hey man, do you want to do a collaboration?" And I said, "Of course." And I actually said, "I emailed you already, let's go." Okay, so we got together, we kind of thought of a way like, okay, well, how are we going to do this interview? Because he can't actually, come here to my house. I'm all the way in South Africa. So instead, what we decided to do was do a little Skype chat, and I interviewed him, and he interviewed me. So it's worth mentioning that if you guys want to learn a little bit more about me, then you want to click through on the annotation at the end of the video, and you'll go through to a video on Travis's channel where he will interview me. And right now we'll go into my interview with Travis. So pay close attention because my t-shirt's about to change color and this little bit of stubble is going to disappear. Hey Travis, how are you doing today?
Really good, thanks.
Okay, so Travis, can you tell us more about yourself, who you are and what do you do?
Oh man, that's the big stuff. Okay, so I'm a designer and developer. I live in California in America, and I work in California with startups. I currently work with a company that does like big data analytics for YouTube, and that's kind of how I got like the whole YouTube bug. I spent time with other YouTube creators, and learned about the community and kind of just thought, hey, there's a space for me right here. This is really cool. And I said, I have something to say, so it kind of worked out. That's how I got with the YouTube.
So how did you actually get into web design in the first place?
Oh, geez. Well, it's a progression like anything. So when I was a kid, I was in a rock and roll band, and we needed like flyers, and then we needed t-shirts, and then we needed a website, and we needed like album covers and everything like that, and then the other bands needed stuff, and I was just like this. I would always draw, and like I wrote a lot, and I would take photos a lot when I was a kid, so it just kind of came to me naturally that this is like this idea that I want to be a creator, that I want to be a producer. And when a need arose, when all the bands that we would like tour with and play music with like needed, graphical assets or whatever, it just kind of naturally came into line. And so later on down the road, how did that come about? But I joined an agency. I used to live in Las Vegas, so I joined an advertising agency there after a lot of freelance work and all that. The usual story of you have to grind a lot, But I joined an advertising agency from Las Vegas, and then from there I became the creative director, and I led a team of designers, and that was a lot of fun. And then I moved out to California, and I worked with an agency out here that does websites and creative for a bunch of like rock stars. So like American rock stars. I don't know if you know like Bon Jovi and Janet Jackson,
Bon Jovi, yeah.
The Killers, and like a whole bunch of like really like top of the line acts. So that was like really cool to like meet all those kind of people.
That's exciting, actually.
Yeah, it was a really great job. And then from there, I joined another startup. So I'd been doing agency work. Now, agency work means that you work for clients. You work on their projects. So joining the startup culture here in Silicon Valley was a little bit different because you're not working for somebody else. You're in effect working for the user, or you know, you're building something that you're going to directly communicate with the users and help them to enrich their lives in, I mean, hopefully enrich their lives in some way. But it's interesting because you, instead of doing client work or agency work where you move from one project to the next in a matter of month or have several projects going on at once, you know, working at a startup or an in-house kind of design position, you can sit with the project for a very long time, years. You know, you sit with it and you think about every like little nuance. You know, how does the user do X, and after that they have to do Y, and what's that going to be like?
So you, like, it's very user focused, and like it has to be right for the user. It's not something like where you go to a company and you're like, okay, do you like this or do you not like this, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. So when you're
you
working,
don't know what the user's reaction is going to be because you can't speak to them.
That's exactly right. Yeah, when you're working at an agency, the client is the band or the company that you're working for, right? You're like, does the CEO like this shade of blue, right? And he has to decide if he likes the shade of blue. But when you're working for the user directly, it doesn't even matter what the shade of blue is. Nobody cares. All they care about is, do they know where to click? Do they understand what's happening? And that's a big difference.
Yeah.
So I really, really enjoy it now. So the company that I worked with got acquired by Groupon. And then after that, I joined this company now, and we work with YouTube and YouTubers and create a place where they can understand their audience and grow their audience and stuff like that. So hanging out with all these YouTubers, I got the bug and started kind of like doing my own thing, and you know, and I've always loved to teach and talk and hear my own voice. You know, I'm one of those kind of people.
Cool.
So
no, that sounds really fun. So what do you actually find, what are you most passionate about in like what you do now? What's the most fun part of it?
So I spend a lot of time with DevTips. I didn't really understand going into it how much time this would kind of take. So before DevTips, my big project was it's kind of a blog, right? I would like have specifically art directed articles. It was like every article on my blog had a different design, independent of each other, and it spent a lot of time, and it was a really great creative output for me, a really good way to express myself and learn a lot. I learned a lot by doing things and trying new things. So I look at DevTips as like an extension of that. Like, it's a new kind of medium, it's a new platform for me. I'm trying new things, learning new things all the time. Like hosting these interviews with you is something I've never done before. So it's really exciting to me to like meet people. I mean, you're half a world away, so that's so cool that we can just connect this way. It's really awesome. YouTube is, for me, like the next kind of creative project that I've been doing, and it's really cool. It's been one of the most interactive things that I've done in terms of actual engagement from the people that view my work. Usually people see it and they comment like, this is cool, or this is nice, or hey, that's an interesting thought. But with this YouTube channel, it's like I'm getting to know the people that I'm communicating with, and like it's kind of blowing my mind that people are actually, you know, interested in what I have to say. It's pretty cool. I really like it.
Yeah. It's quite exciting for me too.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did you actually do before web design, or did you just get straight into that after school?
Well, I did print design for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I started. I started in print design at the agency in Las Vegas. I did print design and worked myself up to being a creative director in charge of, or not in charge of, but you know, leading a team of designers there who primarily did print as well. And I also did web. I taught myself. I didn't go to school. I taught myself. And the reason I always was keen on the web was because it is a really open publishing platform. right? So if you're a print designer, the way to make your work become real is to pay somebody a lot of money to print it. Printing is very expensive, and in order to get something really cool, it costs, like the cooler it is, the more it costs, right?
Yeah.
And I'm very poor / stingy. So the only way to get my things printed was to do them for clients, you know?
Yeah.
And they would print their thing, and I would keep 1 or 2 of them, and it would just kind of be like this token, or, you know, like an artifact that
I understand. So
yeah.
Kind of,
yeah, so the web is like,
gives you so much freedom. It's like,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, the web is like this really open. I mean, all you need to do is have like a web server somewhere, and these days you don't even need to have that. You can just use GitHub Pages or something free, you know, and you can make really awesome things that hundreds and thousands and, you know, and even more than that, people can see it and enjoy it and use it, and it can and they can respond to it, right? So like if I make a magazine ad, somebody is going to flip through it on a coffee table in a dentist office, and then I'm never going to hear about it.
But the website, you can click a button and it's in millions of people's hands, kind of thing.
That's right, and they can use it, and they can respond to it, and we can talk about it afterward, and that is like really cool. That just gets me going. I can't even.
Okay, so here's kind of a big question.
Okay,
but your channels are fairly new to YouTube. It's actually just a few months old.
Yeah.
But can you tell us what was your inspiration behind starting the channel?
The inspiration behind, okay, so there's a YouTube convention here in it's in California, but it's in LA, and I went to it because I am a part of the YouTube ecosphere in the way that I work at this company that makes tools for YouTubers. So we went to the conference to meet YouTubers and talk to them, talk to people who use our tools, talk to people who don't, and try to get them to use our tools. And I was just really just blown away by the passion that everybody was so excited about everything, right? And everybody was like really cool, and that's what really, like, I was just walking around the show floor and I was thinking, like, I kind of want to be in the mix. Like, I want to be in the middle of this. So, actually, at the conference, I, on my phone, I registered the DevTips name on YouTube.
Okay.
Right there, yeah. So that was, like, that's where it started, and, yeah.
And then, like, 2 months later, you put a video up. Done.
Yeah, like, I had to go, and I had to, like, build in my garage. I had to build the background, like the sheetrock and everything. I'd paint it and get the lights and get the camera and like study microphones and like figure out exactly how I wanted to present myself and the branding, right? Like the motion before and after and stuff like that. I had some help from a really good friend of mine, John Haggard, and he helped me. He talked me through how to do the motion work, which I'd never done before. Yeah. So that was a really big learning experience too. So when I say that like my YouTube channel has been a big learning experience, both in terms of like just effort and time, like I'm so impressed with everybody else now. Like now that I'm making these things, I like watch everybody else's videos and I'm like, whoa, like you know, it's just it's so involved, but it's. You know.
Okay, so that's actually leads into my next question as well, which is looking back, what impact do you feel that your channel has had on your life so far? And I'm not just talking in terms of subscribers, but what have you learned from actually starting a YouTube channel?
Well, I think in terms of the content that I teach, being HTML and CSS, and we haven't even gotten there yet, but I'm planning on teaching JavaScript. I've learned, well, I've had a deeper appreciation for the material, certainly, because, I mean, even though I use these things every day, trying to explain them is like a whole nother level. And
I got that too.
Yeah, it's not easy to express something that's just really natural to you. So, I mean, I I spend a lot of time writing the scripts and thinking about, is there anything interesting I can bring to this kind of conversation? I've done like really weird things, like when I was explaining display types, I was writing, like using my face as a whiteboard, and that was weird. And like sometimes I try to draw it out or use like different types of animations to help people understand the things. And through all using these different like tools, it really really brings about how important and kind of just awesome what we get to do is every day. So, and then also I've learned a lot about how much work goes into these YouTube videos. I'm so appreciative now of, like, I see other people's work and I'm like, wow, this is really great. And before I would be like, oh, that's cool, yeah. But now I get it. Like I understand what goes into it, and I'm like, wow. You know, first of all, thank you for making this. Like, it's so much effort, and second of all, like, good job, because it's not easy.
Okay. So just coming back to the part where you said you appreciate the material a lot more. I remember. I can't remember which channel it was, but I remember watching some guys speak about that, and they call that the curse of knowledge. Like, the more you know, then the harder it is to explain something to somebody else, because you're leaving out the simple things. Like you're expecting them to just know the simple stuff. And you actually have to go back to your source material or like a book or something and see how that is showing really people that are really new to the stuff. Like, okay, you need to do this first and that first. And those are things that like you take for granted. It seemed really simple, but for them, they never knew how to do it.
Right. It's definitely a skill to be simple. and it's not easy, and it takes practice and stuff. And that's why, like, I mean, it's really hard for me to sit down and just talk. I write scripts. I do. I write them all out, and you know, I take more than one take. So I explain something, and I'm like, that wasn't good, and so I'll do it again. Like more than, like, I mean, 4 or 5 takes in a row to get something clear. Because I often just do you? Okay, cool. I wasn't sure because yours seems like really, I don't know, yours seemed really natural. Like when I watched the first one, I was like, oh, cool, this guy knows what he's doing.
Well, I write a script out and I have it on the screen.
I'm surprised by that. You sound so natural. Wow.
No, I try. Like, I read through my script and I'm like, okay, I think I've got it all in memory, and I go, and I'll go for about half a video and then I'll forget something. So then I gotta like go and I hit the pause button. I'm like, what do I do now? So, where was I?
Yeah. So a script is not only just what to say, but it's also kind of a lesson plan. Like, what's your strategy in teaching that material? So yeah. Can
you tell us what are your plans for the future of your channel?
Oh man, I have so many ideas bouncing around. I have a huge list of things I want to do. Things like, I want to do more of things like this, talking to other creators and developers. Recently I went to a meetup in San Francisco, and I made that video I asked them about inspiration, what inspires them, and what is it, you know, what does it take to be an inspired person? Like, how do you assimilate information and be able to combine it and create something new? So that was really fun. I do that like whenever I go to a place where there's going to be a lot of creative people. I usually just bring my camera and try to see if I can get some gems, you know, out of those people. And then I also, you know, continue with the tutorials. We've finished a CSS Basics series, and I feel really like free, you know, like we're done with the basics. Now let's go into like the interesting, and not that the basics aren't interesting, they're very interesting. But I feel like now I can do things that people don't understand, like those. Like, I've had a lot of questions about positioning, so I made 2 positioning videos, and people were like, finally, now I get it, you know? So I want to do more. I like also answering user questions. Like when they leave comments, I try to address them as you know, as appropriately and as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And geez, other things. I don't know. Yeah. Just
Okay.
there's a lot of plans. Like I have a list of like topics. Like next week I'm going to be doing floats, for example.
Okay.
And not only is it the material that I'm trying to teach, but I want to approach it in like entertaining ways. I mean, you can get this information anywhere, and you can look up floats and you can read about it, and you're gonna understand it in 2 minutes. But like, how can I make a video that helps somebody not be bored of it? You know, that's one of my concerns. Yeah.
That's also something that bugs me a little bit as well. Like, I said in one of my videos once, and people comment below there all the time now. It's like, you're not boring. Just keep going. Kind of thing.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow, it's kind of boring.
Yeah, as the YouTuber, I'm always so self-conscious. Like, these people are gonna hate this, or they're gonna turn it off after 2 seconds.
Yeah, no, I kind of regret saying that though, because now I get a comment all the time like, you're not boring. I'm like, okay, I wasn't fishing for compliments. But
Right.
Okay. Okay, so is there anything else you'd like to add to the interview?
Just thank you so much for doing this interview with me, man. It's really cool to meet you, and hello to everybody who watches your channel normally. Hope that I can see you guys over on my channel too.
All right, thanks Travis for the interview. It's been a pleasure having you on the channel, and all the best for DevTips.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so that was my interview with Travis. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys want to watch a video where Travis interviewed me, then I'm going to go ahead and leave an annotation just above here. And you can go ahead and click on that. And you'll get to watch a video where Travis actually interviewed me. And if this is the first time you've ever watched one of my videos, perhaps you are one of Travis's subscribers, then I'll leave a little annotation over here. Go ahead and click on that to subscribe to me. And that's all. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Please feel free to leave a comment, like, or share the video. And I'll see you guys next time.